We've had more than 30,000 visitors to the Power Systems Experience Center, and we've spoken to many electricians as well as engineers and consultants. It's very interesting. The engineers are excited to learn about the physical aspects of the equipment, and the electricians are interested in learning about the reasons why electrical equipment works or doesn't work in various applications. We often see that just after an electrical engineer graduates from college, they identify a transformer like this. Squiggly lines on a piece of paper. And an electrician knows exactly what a transformer and other electrical equipment looks like during their apprenticeship, but most of them tell us the same story. Just before the electricity is turned on, they move on to the next job site and don't get to see if it works correctly or not. It's not their fault. The structure of their program is typically set up to learn specific aspects of electrical engineering or electrical work, limiting opportunities for them to see applications outside of the scope of their programs. Here at the PSEC, we're trying to help create an environment where engineers can learn about the physical aspects of equipment and wiring, and electricians can learn about the unique application issues like harmonics and surge protection. To this end, we've partnered with the University of Pittsburgh and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 5 here in Pittsburgh. We have the opportunity to bridge the gap by compressing the learning cycle for engineers and electricians so that they don't have to wait 15 or 20 years to experience many of the things that we can teach them in just one day. In this video, we will discuss the things that we've learned over the past 10+ years to help electricians and engineers working in the electrical industry and the trainers who work with them.
Being here has taught me a lot about not only the engineer side of what it's supposed to do, but also how it's supposed to be applied.
Being able to come to the PSEC and actually seeing how everything works together and being able to see the voltage waveforms and the harmonics that you'll get from different systems.
It's a really nice way to complement kind of the theoretical coursework that you're doing, because you learn all the theory behind all these different phenomena, but you don't really understand what that means.
At Eaton, we recognize that the success of a complex electrical system installation begins in the design phase. And over the years, we've supported the design engineers with a group of highly trained local application engineers. Our application engineers, or AEs, are typically senior engineers with many years of experience covering a wide variety of products and applications. And the consultants they support are usually senior engineers, often with 20 years of experience or more. But recently, we're seeing a change, and not an unexpected change. As the baby boomer generation of engineers move towards retirement, we're starting to see more and more young engineers enter the field. A recent survey by Consulting Specifying Engineer magazine confirms this trend, showing that nearly half of their readers are over 50 years old. With the availability of PSEC, our Power Systems Experience Center, we can train our new application engineers more quickly and more effectively. And we also use PSEC to help the engineering firms we support train their early career engineers. One example is a consultant training program we call Young Guns. Young Guns provides the opportunity for early career consulting engineers to get hands-on and eyes-on experience covering essentially every piece of power distribution equipment they use in their designs. And it also gives them the ability to interact with and learn from some of Eaton's leading power systems experts.
IBEW Local 5 has been working with Eaton here at the Power Systems Experience Center for more than 9 years. The apprenticeship program is a 5-year program where the students work 4 days per week and go to school 1 day per week. Like the PSEC, we use visual learning and hands-on in our classrooms and curriculum. For the 3rd, 4th, and 5th year, they work 5 days and they go to school in the evenings or on Saturday. Each year, our 2nd-year apprenticeship classes come to the PSEC for a whole day of training. Over 4 days, we typically bring 60 to 100 apprentices through, and they learn about power quality, power factor correction, surge protection, and other issues. They also get a chance to talk with Eaton engineers as well as field service professionals from project management and sales to get their perspective on working with contractors on a job site. Our students always walk away with a better understanding of how the manufacturers work and what is important to them. And frankly, I think Eaton learns from our apprentices and instructors as well. It's a great two-way conversation, which makes the program better every year. Our apprentices say that it really helps them understand some of the more vague topics like kVAR or power factor correction. Our instructors say it's usually right in line with the concepts that they are teaching in class. The short-term benefit is that our apprentices get to see something they might not otherwise see for many years in the field. The long-term benefit is that they get a great overview of the electrical concepts that we're teaching them in the classroom. We plan to continue to take advantage of this resource right here in our backyard.
The Swanson School of Engineering at the University of Pittsburgh has been working with the Eaton Power Systems Experience Center since 2007. And since that time, we've had more than a dozen engineering co-op and internships take advantage of the opportunity to work here at the PSEC facility. In addition, we've had more than 20 senior design projects completed in partnership with Eaton at the PSEC, which is a very important component of our undergraduate engineering curriculum. Many of our master's and PhD students have spent a significant amount of time here at the PSEC as well. They work on designing and building demonstrations that are exhibited here at the lab and that also provide opportunities for them to work on activities on campus related to those demonstrations. Many of them do this on their own time, on a voluntary basis, to take advantage of this tremendous resource that's so close to our campus at Pitt. It's a fantastic opportunity for our students to get hands-on experience with equipment and using tools that they otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to utilize. In addition, our research team at the University of Pittsburgh in the Electric Power Systems Lab works very closely with Eaton and has designed and built a lab on campus, really modeled to some extent after the PSEC, but on a smaller scale. Our Power Systems Lab at Pitt is a state-of-the-art facility that we use for teaching electric power engineering curriculum and working on important and relevant modern research and development activities. Every one of our students in the electrical engineering department that takes the power concentration utilizes this lab during their time at Pitt, and it's been a tremendous advantage for them, being able to augment what they learn in the classroom with hands-on capabilities in the lab. As you might imagine, our students go on to do many things in the power industry. It ranges from consulting to design to utility engineering, working with manufacturers, even the government, and quite frankly, many of them go on to work for Eaton. It really tells us that we've developed and created a curriculum, partly in partnership with Eaton, that matches what industry needs and that provides students with advantages that they might not otherwise have an opportunity to gain and really sets them up for long-term career success. As you might imagine, our students love coming here and working with the lab. They call it a Disneyland for engineers, and you can see why. I'm really excited that over the years we've had this tremendous opportunity to partner with an industry leader like Eaton to be able to expand our own capabilities and learning experiences on campus to include more of a hands-on experience with our curriculum. I know it pays off for the students, not only now, but later on in their careers. Quite honestly, I know a lot of engineers that I graduated with many years ago, myself included, who would have loved to have had the opportunity that these students have to work here at a place like the PSEC. In addition, we're working with Eaton to expand our laboratory capabilities and really set us apart in terms of what we're doing with not only education, but important research and development for the power industry well into the future.
When I first found out that I was going to be interning at the PSEC, to be honest with you, I really wasn't sure what to expect because I was still just like learning in general about electric power and that in that area in general. So I wasn't completely sure what that entailed. But definitely when I got here, it was a lot more hands-on experience than I could have ever imagined.
We work with such a diverse amount of products and learn a whole bunch of different control strategies and wiring strategies and all that type of stuff. And I think that working with people like the electricians here was great because you learn all these little tricks that you would never think of in a million years on your own that make your life so much easier as you're doing these things. And so that when you're in a position where maybe someday you're designing that product, you can think of those things and be like, oh, you know, if I make it this way, it might be easier for someone like that to wire something like this up and make it their life better in the field and kind of get the complete picture that way.
Even just working with side by side with electricians and everything, it's a different perspective than I would have ever imagined. Just being able to learn how to work with these like simple tools even. And it's a very valuable experience. I definitely feel enriched by it.
Working out here at the PSEC has really helped me over some of maybe the other students who are doing similar things, because I really understand from my experiences here the amount of detail that needs to go into something that works in the real world and what those real world problems that you're trying to solve actually are.
Yeah, there was an issue with a power outage, and generator had kicked on, and even though the power was restored, they had lost several UPS units and servers. So we went out to identify the problem and fix it, obviously. So when I got there, I really didn't know what was going on. My first thought was to test the generator. I tested the generator tested out fine. So that brought me back to what I've learned here, to think about harmonics, being that it's all solid state load instead of resistive load, that can create a lot of harmonics. And had I gone there without being here and having the knowledge that I had from here, I might have missed it. They would have replaced their equipment, generator could have possibly fired again, and they would have lost their equipment for a second time. Probably about 8 to 9 years ago was the first time I came in here at the PSEC, and my initial reaction was awe. You know, you just kind of sit back and you're like, everything that we do is all in one place. It's quite eye-opening experience to get to see everything in its rarest forms. And I always make the joke that you guys play God with electricity here, and that's basically what you do. You create any situation that you want and create a solution for it as well. And by being here, it's taught me a lot about not only the engineer side of what it's supposed to do, but also how it's supposed to be applied. And a lot of times electricians don't have that design aspect. So we understand to put it in, but we don't always understand why we're putting it in.
Training is critical for young engineers and electricians to give them an edge in designing and analyzing power systems. Eaton is dedicated to working with our long-standing industry partners to improve training through proven methods and hands-on learning.
Here at the Power Systems Experience Center, we focus on visual learning. Engineers can learn how equipment and systems are put together, and electricians can see unique application issues and problems. We have many formalized and customized training programs for engineers and electricians.
Contact us or your local Eaton representative to schedule a visit to the Power Systems Experience Center today.